was an early morning for Ryogo as he prepared himself for his daily activities as an exorcist. Ji-sama had gone out for the day to run personal errands, and as the leader of the Seika dorm, Exorcist, it was his job to make sure everyone had what they needed and that they were where they needed to be. Responsibility often fell to his shoulders. After all, of all the exorcists in the dorm, he was the oldest. And just because of the announcement of the Twin Star Exorcist, that didn't change anything. As he looked through his supplies, he saw that he was running low on talisman paper. But whenever you did standard exorcisms, as long as you were in the group, then it shouldn't have been too much of a worry, though he had the file in his mind to make sure he asked for more later. Everyone was gathered in the kitchen for breakfast, Rokuro with his normal attitude and Benio being stoic as ever. As they went through their plans for the day, he, Shinosuke, and Atsui were going to be doing some rounds of exorcisms. Benio had plans on working on her talismans, and for Rokuro, well, he hadn't decided. Ryogo wanted to make sure that Rokuro didn't laze around, advising that it would be wise of him to study for the day, though Rokuro took it as an insult. It wasn't like he meant to, but their dynamic, their relationship, it had become very challenging. It wasn't easy. They had known each other since their times in the orphanage. Never knowing a family, they were all that each other had. And even though Ryogo looked to Rokuro as a younger brother, and while he loved and cared for him deeply, he'd be lying if he said that he wasn't annoying at times. Always so stuck up, always so stubborn, always quick to shut everyone out instead of letting them in. He didn't know about the Hinatsuki dorm tragedy in detail. He just remembered the night that Rokuro came back to the Seika dorm, his arm bandaged, and from that day forth, his life had taken a turn. He couldn't force him to be an exorcist. If he truly didn't want to be, then that was his own path. But he knew that his brother had the desire. He had the skill, the passion. It was his dream. Regardless, he just wanted to make sure that he could live, that he could move on in life. For Rokuro, he decided to go for a walk. Clearing his head would be a lot easier than sitting around doing nothing. Benio was no conversation at all, and with the whole announcement about the Twin Star situation, the last thing he wanted was to get anything confused. The guys were out, so he was left on his own. As he walked through the streets, he passed an old candy shop. The seller, having seen him in a long time, called out to him and asked him to stop by for a bit. "It's been forever if it's been a day, Rokuro. I surely hope you haven't forgotten me." "Of course not, ma'am. How could I ever forget?" "Oh, I just remember when you were so tiny and small, along with your brother and your friend." "You mean Ryogo and Myra?" "Why, yes. By the way, how are things with that Myra girl? Have you two shared a kiss?" "No, of course not. Myra's like a sister to me. I would never." "Always quite the charmer, Rokuro." "Ooh, I know. I'll give you something on the house. I'm sure these dumplings are still your favorite." They are, actually. I remember when you boys would come here every summer. All the time you'd have your little arguments and spats. I remember a funny one. You and your brother talking about who would have to serve the other someday, or some type of thing. For an old lady, she had a great memory. Until she said something, even Rokuro had forgotten about it. It was an old argument. More so, Rokuro boasting about how he would be the strongest exorcist, and how when he became the strongest, he would have Ryogo be his personal assistant, the right hand to the strongest exorcist in the world. Ryogo would always humor Rokuro. He even accepted the homemade talisman that would mark him being his servant. He didn't hate Ryogo. He could never hate him. And sure, he knew he could be an asshole sometimes. He always held himself back, never allowing his true feelings to show. Sure, he had his issues, but it was wrong of him to take it out on others. Maybe when he got home, he could... No, he wasn't going to apologize. Maybe if he said something first, maybe, but... As Rokuro came through the door, he would be followed soon after. Shinosuke and Atsui. They looked battered and beaten. But worse, Ryogo wasn't there. Meanwhile, in Magano, Ryogo was fighting for his life. They had gone to a house where 11 people had gone missing, likely due to Kagare. But as they went to perform the exorcism, they were ambushed the moment that the Magano gate opened. With his quick thinking, he pushed the others before they could be swarmed along with him. Now he was trapped in Magano, fighting with what talismans he had remaining. Giant Kagare, small hordes of Kagare, surrounding him on every side. Damn it! I knew I should have ordered more talisman paper. Now I'm almost out, and I can't make a way to get out of Magano. He looked to see the one ace in the hole that he carried with him. The Atom Smasher talisman. Damn it. I probably shouldn't be using this thing again. But still, it's better than being crushed to death by Kagare. A pair of giant Kagare were about to step on him. He jumped out of the way at the last moment, making distance as he raised the talisman. Kyojin, blessing of the giant, come forth at once! The sparks of blue and red formed around him as he started to grow in size and mass. Now, Giant Star Talisman, Atom Smasher! He looked around the field of Magano, seeing all the Kagare. I've only got 3 minutes. I'll use that time. I'll crush as many of you as I can. I can't waste any movements. Every step I take, it feels like a strain on my heart. I have to be focused. I can't waste a single step. Back in the real world, Rokuro would race to Benio's room. As he opened it, his head immediately hitting the floor as he bowed to her. Benio was surprised. The last thing she ever expected to see was Rokuro bowing to her of all people. He made his plea known. His brother needed his help. His family. He begged for assistance. He couldn't lose anyone else. He couldn't bear it. Benio would tell Rokuro to raise his head, assuring him that when it came to the needs of others, an exorcist should never be bowed to. To help someone in need is the duty of an exorcist. Their power was guaranteed. In Magano, the limit had reached for Ryogo. He had cleared a good number of the Kagare, though in its final moments he had been blind attacked and was sent flying into a Kagare building. As it fell onto him, his body returned to normal, his leg crushed under one of the stones. He couldn't move, the Kagare beginning to swarm around him. Damn it! Ah! There's still so many of them. Well, if this is how it has to be, maybe I can charge a little spell power into my sword and... He didn't have any more talismans to use. No more spells that he could cast. He was at his end. A dull blade, a bummed leg, maybe a few cracked ribs, short of breath. Well, if this is how it has to be, at least Rokuro isn't here. If he saw me like this, he'd never let me live it down. As the giant Kagare was ready to attack him, a loud scream could be heard. He saw what appeared to be flying on red ethereal wings. It was Rokuro. His anger had flared to new degrees, seeing the state of his brother. Get away from him! Yeah! Ryogo! Rokuro? Ryogo, you're okay. It's gonna be alright. We'll get out of this. I promise. You actually came to Magano. I thought you hated being an exorcist. This doesn't matter right now. I'm not going to let my brother die. Rokuro, just stay here and rest. Leave this to me. Benio would clear a path through the smaller Kagares, as Rokuro would launch himself towards the giants. The one who will cleanse and purify, who will rid this world of sin and corruption. You won't lay a finger on my brother, or anyone else that I care for. You Kagare, you will fall to my hands. Ryogo would be in awe of Rokuro. He overcame his fears. He overcame that darkness. In this moment, he saw what his brother could truly do. The true power of an exorcist. The combined strength of both Benio and Rokuro was enough to clear that section of Magano of the Kagares, fast and efficient. Thankfully, Ryogo would be returned home, taken to the hospital for treatment, of course. Benio would stay back to cleanse the area of what Kagare remained and of any corrupting influence. Rokuro staying back as well. She was surprised, thinking that he would rather be at the hospital, but Rokuro had to thank her. With her help, he was able to save Ryogo, to protect his family. Benio had never told him or anyone, but she knew what it was like to lose loved ones to a Kagare, to lose your family in that moment, to be so helpless that you could do nothing but watch. She would never say it aloud, but this moment touched her, because she understood. You don't have to thank me. I even have to admit, when you work as an exorcist, when I get to see you fight, you truly are amazing, Rokuro. Though I would say that's your only redeeming quality. Other than that, you're a bit of a loudmouth, you're annoying, you're kind of a loser, a dork. And just when I thought, and you're also loud too. Well, maybe you're too quiet. Better to be quiet than a loudmouth. What was that? Meanwhile, in Magano, two figures watch as the Kagare had been completely eradicated. A tall and a short individual, both clad in cloaks of white. What do you think? He's impressive, isn't he? Impressive. That only begins to describe him, boy. Where on earth were you able to find such a talent? I had to create him. It was a lot easier said than done. But that's my Rokuro for you. He can do amazing things when you give him a chance. Sometimes, all he needs is the proper motivation. True, but it will take more than motivation to make my dream a reality. Your dream? You've never told me your dream. I haven't, have I? Nope. You've just been going on and on about your plans. But I want to know about your dreams. What will your plans lead to? When I was alive, the world of Exorcist and Kagare was a lot different. Back then, there was duty, a code, a sense of honor. We believed that we were close. We believed that the war with the Kagare would soon come to an end. I guess you were wrong about that. I have never been more wrong in my life. But I was betrayed. A chance to end the war once and for all. The exorcists that purify and destroy the Kagare. The Kagare that devour the humans. The world of Magano and the world of Earth. They exist in the same plane but are divided only by a veil. I believe that veil is the cause of suffering in the world. Even yours. My suffering? No. My suffering occurred the day I was born. Because even at my birth, I was given a terrifying truth. The truth about life and destiny. I was discarded by God. I guess I didn't fit into the plans. I was just a mistake. An error that the universe wants to correct. But we fight against the universe, don't we, Master? Yes, we do, Yuta. We must fight against the universe. The world of good and the world of evil, they are nothing more but facades, created by gods who sit and hide in their heavens. The world of Magano and the world of Earth, they were once one, separated. But now they must be remerged. So that's what you desire most? For Earth and Magano to become one? Yes. But the only way that can happen is if we start over. We start from zero. I know that he is your friend, as well as your sister, and I don't care for her. She means absolutely nothing to me. Whether she lives or dies, I just don't care. Though, personally, I'd probably get more of a kick out of life if she just kicked the bucket. A way of sticking it to the universe. Is this jealousy? No, vindication. I'll show the universe that they chose wrong. I'll show them who the real Twin Star Exorcist truly is. The universe deemed me a mistake, but I will become the karma of the universe. And I will take away their twin stars. Maybe then it'll have no choice but to acknowledge my power. Our power. Kagare. Exorcist alike. For my dream to become a reality, both must die. We will cleanse this world of both, and we will start anew. A world reborn, when Earth and Magano become one. This concludes Twin Star Exorcist Reborn. What if Rokuro and Benio were Hawkman and Hawkgirl? Season 1, Part 3. As always, if you enjoyed today's video and everything else that we have to offer, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings that has to come out now and in the future. Stay tuned next time as we continue with Twin Star Exorcist Reborn, what if Rokuro and Benio were Hawkman and Hawkgirl, Season 1, Part 4. But anyway, that's going to do it for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with PowerCore Productions and Podcastings, signing off, and I'll see you next time.